Okay, taking a look at what's going on. This does kind of tell the tale in terms of where everything is going to be on the map. Into these blue areas, these are winter storm watches for all these counties and areas. This could indicate around 2-3 inches of snowfall, possible, but there's likely to be a little bit of a mix on the edge of things here too. And then the areas in the pink-purple color indicating, whoa, you're going to get snow. There's a winter storm warning in effect for those areas. They could see as much as 6 inches of snow for those regions. Now, I want to show you this forecast model. It's been an outlier model for the day today. In other words, it doesn't agree with the other forecast models, and I think it's way too alarmist in terms of what it's predicting. But nonetheless, I want to show you that there is still a little bit of wiggle room as to what this thing is going to be doing. It's called the RPM, and it's the in-house forecast model for us. The temperatures around 39, 40 degrees and 1 in the afternoon. There's some snowfall appearing on off to the northwest. So over the top of us by 4 in the afternoon, we can see a little bit of snowfall, possibly a little bit of a mix as well. It changes over to scattered mix, and then later on at night we start to see more solid snowfall work its way northward. This has got that rain-snow line right on through the peninsula at 1 o'clock in the morning. There's where things are by 4 in the morning. Still that rain-snow line right through here. South side into northeast North Carolina, no, not likely to see much of any snowfall at all. That's 4 o'clock in the morning. Now we're also going to see some heavier rain work its way on northeastward through the region. All the forecast models are indicating that. A little bit at 7 o'clock, but you can see this area sliding east-northeastward. That would likely enhance the colder air into the snowy area and produce some heavy snow. Again, this is the outlier forecast model. It's the only one really doing that in terms of producing heavy snow. And this forecast model has just entered the fray today. In other words, it only runs out 48 hours. So we haven't had several cycles of the forecast model to look at and compare how it does. This is really pretty much the first cycle or close to the first cycle where we've seen things go on. So it is an outlier. But nonetheless, I wanted to show it to you. There's where things are by 1 o'clock. The heavy rain and heavy snow toward the peninsula and Williamsburg is coming to an end, and it tapers off to lighter snowfall with this one. There's where things are at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We've had to switch to a little bit lower resolution in the latter part of the time frame here, but it basically agrees with that. And then it comes to an end as a mixture of rain and snow into the region by early on Sunday evening. Now, that's according to that one. The European forecast model and the GFS, the American forecast model, have basically been in lockstep now for the past 3 days, showing you what's going on with this storm situation and where that rain-snow line has been. So I'm trusting these a little bit more. Here's where things are by 7 o'clock in the evening, according to the Euro. It's got a little tiny bit of snow, a little bit of a mix over the peninsula, nothing real big, a little bit of excitement, but it changes over to mostly rainfall, certainly for the south side, most of the peninsula, and then it becomes a mix right into here with some very light snow between, let's say, West Point and on toward the Richmond area. Very light snow. There's where things are by 3 in the morning. Steadier rainfall, rainfall all the way past Williamsburg. A little bit of a mix, a little bit heavier snow into the Richmond area. But then that rain-snow line lives northward, on up toward Richmond, or even north of Richmond. So again, and it hangs there pretty much for most of the day, at least during the heaviest part of the rainfall, which is likely to be, or the heaviest part of the precipitation, which is likely to be from the early morning hours through the early afternoon. You know, by 4 o'clock, this is lightening up considerably in terms of the rainfall and even the snowfall to the northwest. But that rain-snow line starts drifting a little bit farther southward again as we move on to the late afternoon, evening hours. But by then it's very light, a wintry mix, a little bit of light snow toward the Williamsburg area. And by 1 o'clock in the morning, we've got a wintry mix into the region, and it's gone for Monday. So that's what's going on with that one. Now remembering, again, that keeps most of the snow to the north of the Williamsburg area, and even for the heart of the storm on the northern fringe of Richmond. Let's see how the GFS, the American model, is doing. It's got some snow in the region at 7 o'clock in the evening. By 10 o'clock, it does have a little bit of a punch right on down into here, and I've noted that, and you'll see that coming on up in the snowfall totals here, and a mix over the Hampton Roads area, mainly over the peninsula, and light snow toward the Richmond area. 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Now we start to see all rainfall. Mix on the edge of Williamsburg, light snow into Richmond. There's where we are by 4 o'clock in the morning. Some heavier rainfall, heavier precipitation is approaching. changing. Mix on the edge of Williamsburg. So this one's a little bit closer than is the Euro. The Euro had it on up into here, again, by the early morning hours. But this one, too, lifts it a little bit farther northward by 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. Here comes some of that heavier rainfall, very heavy rainfall, over an inch likely for the Outer Banks. We could see half an inch to an inch of rainfall into the Hampton Roads area. But that rain-snow line, though it is a little bit closer, a little bit farther southward, it's not really in our area, except for the northern neck. Those were things I 1 in the afternoon. It does start sinking a little bit farther southward, but the heaviest precipitation is starting to move on off. You'll note the colors lighten here, and the colors lighten into here. So we can start to see a little bit of a mix approach the Williamsburg area again. But by then, it's kind of done for. It's nothing real big. So a few flakes of snow falling out of the sky, possibly mixed with some rainfall during the overnight hours and into very early on Monday morning. Here is the European forecast model, and I've got the GFS showing for Norfolk and for Newport News. Now, remembering that the majority of the time, even with the GFS, when we see snow, it would happen at the beginning, and then it turns over into all rain. So, yeah, we could see an inch of snow in Newport News, but by the time it's said and done on Sunday night, it would likely be gone. So, again, that's the GFS there, just these two numbers, but the rest of it is the European forecast model. 1/3 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, couple inches, 3 inches toward Farmville. And I think that's really not too bad. I think that's got a good handle on things. Remember I showed you how some of that, the GFS dips on into here? Well, I've got kind of a little bit of a dip in here too, taking note of that. Moderate confidence, all rain or mostly rainfall into the region. Might end as a little bit of a mix into the south side. Wintry mix, but mostly rain here. 1 to 2 inches is possible into the Williamsburg area, but it'll be 1.5 inches of snow as it starts tomorrow night late. But then it changes over to all rain and it's gone, and then we can see another 1/2 an inch at the very end of it. But again, it's not likely to be much in terms of really sticking on the ground, certainly on the roads either. Snow on the ground, though, I think we'll see it here, especially the farther northward that we go into Richmond and north of Richmond, and then really a lot of snow toward the Charlottesville area, all the way on up toward Leesburg. There are some predictions that go as high as 10 inches or more of snowfall into some of those areas, especially into the mountains. But for the Hampton Roads cities, again, all rain or mostly rain, really even on up into Northampton County and the Eastern Shore. Wintry mix, but mostly rain, likely no accumulation. And again, I showed you how it could start as a little bit of snow, change over to all rain, end up as maybe a tiny bit of snowfall into the Williamsburg area, but the sum total is the same, really no accumulation. We're taking a little bit more time with this. Here's what's going on. Precipitation chances for Saturday. We could see a possible mix, 8 o'clock in the evening. During the daylight hours, not much going on. 8 o'clock in the evening, though, possible mix in the evening hours, changing over to all rain, and we could see some fairly heavy rainfall going on during the day, first part of the day on through the early afternoon, and then we could see a light wintry mix, really even later than this for some areas, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the evening. A lot of areas would even see it later than that, and then it comes to an end on Sunday night. So that's what's going on with that. Some considerations for the weekend. The pavement is cold. We've had some cold air over us, but no extended time with sub-freezing temperatures. What does that mean? The ground isn't frozen. So, and we had lots of sunshine today to heat up the pavement. So snow falls on it, it melts at first, unless we get some heavy snow that could overcome that. But it doesn't look like we'll see it. Toward northwest of Richmond, they could see bursts of heavy snow. The Euro and the GFS models have been in agreement now for days, 2-3 days. We're moderate confidence. We're not out of the woods entirely on this. Remember, I showed you that Outlier forecast model. That's pretty much the only one that is pumping out some heavy snow for Williamsburg and the northern end of Newport News into parts of York County as well. But again, moderate confidence going on. 20% chance in the afternoon hours. I think really we'll see a mix late at night, changing over to all rain. Rain and wind for much of the day on Sunday. Not too concerned about tidal flooding, by the way. Coming to an end is a little bit of a mix late at night Sunday and possibly a little bit into Monday morning.